fresh off that driver speed training I started my session with. It was a good one to start my day with because it was pretty eye-opening. I think I've been chasing speed, and it's not news to me, but in a little bit of the wrong way. So I've been getting a little bit too arms-driven, not using the body properly, and that session really helped me understand that when I go at it hard, for me that's using the body inefficiently, and it's not producing much more speed anyway than a swing that I use my body better and work on the keys that I've been working on with Larry and the guys that at UGP, what they helped me with as well. So I wanted to use that session as a perfect way to go into a test that you guys have asked me to do, which is to hit the Max LS version of the Rogue ST. So I've done a couple videos now using the triple diamond. Initially it was just kind of, excited to see that driver be available in left hand. I wanted to try it. I would have loved for it to work well for me. I think it might just be a little bit on the high maintenance side for me. I'm not the most consistent striker of the ball, so it could be great or it could be a little bit of a hook machine for me if I started to move the strike into the wrong spot or get the loft a little bit too low. So what I'm going to do is take the 9 degree of the Max LS. I'm going to start it at stock settings, no hosel movements. Just going to use one of the stock shafts here. Hit some shots, tinker around with it a little bit, and ultimately just want to see if this might be a driver that I consider playing for this upcoming season. Just looking at it at address, it's sort of the issue that I notice with triple diamond. I'm not going to say it sits closed, it definitely doesn't, but I wouldn't mind seeing it sit a little bit more open. So I'm going to see what the spin numbers are like. I'm hoping they'll be a little bit high in this configuration, which would allow me to open the face just slightly. But we'll have to see if that's a possibility. It does give me the look of something that I would fear hitting right just when I look at it at address. Good direction to start. It's a little spinny, but it's not bad, and I'm pretty sure that was mostly just me striking it low in the face. That's a good start, though. Better strike, but awfully shapely. I have a feeling this face angle is going to be a little bit of an issue. Because I'm kind of feeling the need to give it one of those to keep it away from the right side. Which is not a bad drive, but I don't know that that's necessarily ideal. Let me hit one more. Might make a quick change. Okay, so a little bit of a mixed bag to start. I mean, there's 3 pretty good drives in there, no doubt about it. I do feel like my path is getting quite a bit in to out and the strike is moving toe side because I do worry that it's going to go too far to the right side. So I'm going to make a quick change right away. Okay, that looks better already. So the N for neutral setting, but -1, which we know does open the address position of the club face. It looks a little bit more neutral to me now. The only issue being, is that reduced loft going to be too low in loft? We're going to find out. Okay. That's just me with the strike point, a little low toe. Struck a hell of a lot better. That flight's pretty damn neutral. Happy with that. Still a bit of a draw, but yep, I like that. Yeah, still fighting that right side a bit. Definitely get some good drives out of this. I do still feel like I'm trying to not hook it though. But I do think subconsciously, for whatever reason, I'm seeing a lot of left to right shots. So I think my brain may be kind of trying to get me more inside and out, which can move the strike to the toe. Because I think I'm physically trying to start the ball left more because I'm worried about it curving back to the right. That's a really nice one. Okay. Getting a little bit of groove with this. Yeah, I just don't love the amount of shape that it's encouraging. So let me just make sure that it's not just all on me. Let me switch drivers and see. Softly good start. To be honest, I actually towed that a little bit. That's ideal. Kind of the more small draw. Yeah, I'd like to be able to hit shots on the course that look like that. Maybe not for every single drive, but this is letting me neutralize the swing a little bit and start the ball closer to the start line and not have as much spin axis bringing it back. Yeah, just a much more neutral ball flight on this. So second session, tinkering with a couple drivers, it's looking like, as much as I like the look and sound and feel of those Callaways, and I've hit some really good shots with them, for whatever reason, for me, they are coming out a little bit on the draw bias side, which I think for a lot of golfers could be fine, but for me, because I do fight the hook, it might be one I have to kind of table for a bit. I have tried a couple different shafts in it. I haven't just tried the stock ones, and I did tend to have a left to right pattern with all of them. So I think I might whittle it down a little bit closer now to this guy being a contender, and I'll hit a couple with stealth now just to see if that one's still looking good. See if I can keep this kind of neutral flight going. Yeah. To be honest, that's about as good as I can hit a ball that just turns over a little bit. Turning a bit. I'd blame myself there because I towed that a bit. Didn't pick up the strike, but I can promise you that was me towing it. Very good result though. That one's pretty much perfect. Yeah, it's a bit of a comfort zone thing. So, I try to be as sort of scientific with these tests as I can, but I think when it comes down to playing a club, for yourself or for me, it's okay to get a little bit picky kind of when you start winding drivers down. So I love that Callaway driver in so many ways, but I kind of feel like with the sessions I've had, I'm trying to make it work because I like it in many ways. But when I step up to these two drivers and make a swing, it just seems so much more likely that I'm going to be in the fairway as long as the strike point is decent. Yeah. There's a definite comfort zone with this guy. Slightly low heel strike, and it's a bunch of shots in here in a row that I'd just be picking my tee up and walking away, sipping my beer, and a happy guy. I mean, the Cobra has a ball speed edge, there's no doubt about it. I've seen that in the first few videos. I noticed that I can always get a couple other extra miles an hour out of that. The launch is perfect at 11.3. The spin's a little low, and that's what we talked about, that Ventus Black maybe isn't the best shaft for me. I suspect the TR or even a blue would help me add a little bit more dynamic lofted impact, move the strike down the head just a bit, and then I would spin it more like the Stealth. So, I mean, the Stealth's numbers are essentially perfect. That's the way I'd like to play on the course. The only thing about it that I don't love is that the ball speed, in my mind, could be a little bit higher. It was the lowest of the three, but we are talking about, strike points. We are using different shafts. So there's other things at play there. But when you look at, the dispersion circle on the Stealth was ridiculous. I mean, it's about as tight a dispersion as I've had, hitting a group of drivers consecutively. I hate to give up on the Callaway at this point. It's just been many, many sessions where I really fight the right side. And to be honest, that circle, if I really just didn't think about it and just swung, I think that circle would be even further right than it is there. So it's not like it's far off. It's just, for me, I want to whittle it down. I don't want to go on the golf course and think about missing a ball right, because that's when I really start to play poorly. To me, I feel like I'm making better swings with the Cobra and the Stealth. And now it's just going to come down to, some really fine tuning with those two to see which of them will end up, making the most sense for me to use on the course this year. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you guys thought. I know I bounced around with a couple different ideas. I know I'm messing with settings on both of them. I know I've got them both kind of fade biased, more fade biased in the Cobra. I know a lot of you will say, hey, you've got that way too fade bias, that's why it's going left. Totally agree with you. I think the shaft is the one that's limiting me with the Cobra. Not to say Ventus Black isn't an excellent shaft. I just think that it only works for me when I, was back, last couple of years swinging as hard as I could at it. Now that I'm trying to keep my ball speed and club speed, golf course mode, 170s kind of thing, I think that Ventus TR will fit me better, get a little bit more dynamic loft on the shot, and then this head will kind of come alive a little bit more, and then I probably don't have to mess around with the weights quite as much. I'll probably just put them back to neutral, and then we might see a dispersion circle that looks more like the Stealth. Had a bunch of people ask me about why I'm not playing the TSI anymore. Easiest reason is I had a 10 degree in the TSI, so I used to put almost no spin on my driver. I played the higher loft, and the TSI was great higher in the face at not hitting knuckleballs. It's just not an issue I have anymore. My strike points come lower in the head, and I'm delivering more dynamic loft, so even in the 9 degree TSI 3 with the loft turned down, I still found my low strikes were spinning up really high. So I think for this year, I'm going to mix it up a bit. I love that Titleist driver, but I think it would probably be a little bit of a Frankenstein to get that to spin in the right window, whereas these two are so close. A little bit of tinkering here and there. I think we might find one of these just does perfect for me this year.